Well, hello and welcome again to Edison Light Globes video. Today, what we thought we'd do is talk about shatterproof globes. Now, it's a bit complex for a lot of people to understand what that's for, but essentially shatterproof is a concept that is required for food preparation. So I would imagine in the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years, maybe even a bit longer, but in the past, whilst chefs, or what do they call those people on the bench, they're putting your food together on a plate, they turn it around, a globe blew up, they turned back, they didn't notice, and your food is full of little tiny bits of glass, and so probably not the best thing to ingest. So what happened was they decided that all globes, all lighting over food preparation, especially in Australia, needed to be what they call shatterproof. Essentially what they did was they covered a lot of lights in plastic, so you have fluorescent tubes with plastic, like a trough. You might have like specific globes that weren't exposed that way. They'd have panels or whatever. But essentially what they're trying to do is to stop globes from exploding all over food, and that includes where you're making coffee, you have a cappuccino machine or tea or whatever, that sort of stuff. The idea is, technically, you're not allowed to have globes, bare globes, aren't shatterproof over food preparation. Now, one of the reasons that globes used to shatter, I'm going to turn these off for a moment, is that I've got 3 globes here. This is the traditional globe. This is like a incandescent. Now, the way an incandescent globe works is there's a very thin filament wire inside. Basically, it's just connected to mains voltage, and it glows. Now, to stop it from completely combusting and burning out, it actually exists in a vacuum. There's no oxygen inside this globe. I don't know how they do it, but they suck all that out whilst they're making the globe. Now, some globes, later technologies have introduced gases, inert gases into these. Provided they're not oxygen, the globe will still work and it won't burn out. So, the reason these shatter is because there's a vacuum inside, and the vacuum causes the globe not to explode but to implode. However, all of that force, all the glass under stress, the very fine bits of glass, it goes everywhere. So we're going to explain, we're going to show you what that looks like. Now, the second type of globe we have is a modern LED, a filament LED, and our shatterproof globe. And we're going to smash all 3 of them to show you just what happens. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is, because I'm going to smash glass, I'm going to protect myself. I've got the hard to get hold of nitrile gloves. Now, these are what we use for all sorts of things, but just to protect my hands, I'm going to put protective gloves on. Now, I could use the big thick leather gloves, but I don't think I need them for this. However, what I do need is a base mask. Now, I'm starting to look like I work in, emergency.
Walter White.
I work in the ER, but trust me, this is to protect my eyes, and I hope the cameraman's got his eyes on too. Now, I've got this special hammer. This is a hammer that's specially designed to smash light globes, and I'm going to try and do this without actually shorting all of the power in the entire building. So, wish me luck. Not just yet though, I might just let it go for a sec. Have we got a vacuum cleaner? We do.
We do, right there.
Okay, I think we'll just let it go. So this is the incandescent vintage Edison globe. We're going to smash this and we're going to see just what happens when we explode this. Oh, there you go. Oh. Now, don't breathe that, by the way. And what we've got, if you look around here, we've got little bits of glass, tiny little bits of very thin, glass, you probably couldn't hear that, that have just shattered everywhere. Now, you can imagine very, very small pieces. They would go into food plates, whatever, they'd go everywhere. What I think, Louis, I don't reckon this, you can hear that. Can you hear that?
Not too different.
Okay. I might not be able to be heard, but we'll work it out. So, now, what we're going to do is we're going to turn the next one on. I'll turn that one off because that's apparently, oops, not the wrong one. Yeah, this one I'll turn off. This one I'll turn on. Now, so what we've got here is a standard, it's an LED equivalent of this globe. So slightly cooler colour temperature, made for the same purpose. And what we're going to do is we're going to smash it. You ready? That's it. It's not it. I can't smash it, Louis. I had to hit it pretty hard. It actually just went over there. Now, just to explain what happened there, even though it looked very similar, it wasn't anything like this, the amount of small bits of glass. The reason being that LEDs aren't a hot wire and they don't have a problem with oxygen or air. So in an LED, there's no vacuum. Now, it is a lot harder to smash, I've got to say, because the glass doesn't react because it's not under stress of vacuum. It's not a vacuum in here, so it won't break as easy. When it does, it basically breaks like you would break a glass, like a drinking glass. So not really as severe as the incandescent globe. So the next test is our Shatterproof. It looks exactly the same, but it is, in theory, Shatterproof. Which one's that one? There we go. Okay. Now, I'm going to put on the goggle eyes. Yeah. There you go. Okay. Now this could get difficult because it's
Polycarbonate.
Shatterproof. Anyway, I know, because I've tried, the reason why these don't shatter, I'll turn it on, and I'll explain it. Rather than traditionally what would have been done, manufacturers would have covered these types of globes in a silicon sock. The idea of a silicon sock is the sock doesn't break, retains the glass, everybody's happy. In our testing, we discovered that in fact they blow up just like this under test conditions. Silicon goes everywhere, the glass goes everywhere, you're back to where you started from. They're in theory supposed to be shatterproof, they look like they might be, but when you actually test it, they're not. These are a polycarbonate sleeve, which means they're plastic. They're a hard plastic, they'll take heat, they don't need to be in a vacuum as an LED, so these are as tough as nuts, as you see. This won't break. What's that?
You can throw it.
Yeah, I'll throw it at you. Anyway, they just won't break. Is that back to me? So eventually what happens is you will break, the internals of it. But even with the internals broken, having been chucked around, it is possible that might even still work. Yeah, there you go. So even with it smashed up inside, it's still working because there's no hot wire, there's no mucking around with the filament. It's still connected, the LEDs still work. So they're extremely tough, extremely safe where you have food prep, where you need shatterproof. These are absolutely guaranteed shatterproof. So I think for a lot of countries, shatterproof's not mandatory. In some countries it is. There's no real standard that we can find that says it must conform to some sort of shatter test. There is a sort of a shatter test, but all the shatterproof globes we've tested don't conform to that shatterproof test. This does. So there we have it. Shatterproof, what it's for, how we do it. We supply these mains 240 volts or 120 volts for North America, so these are in stock. They're always available. They probably don't last as long as we'd like. They're probably about a 1 to 2 year lifespan in a commercial sort of situation, but still, what it means you can do is have a bare bulb vintage type display of light in an area where you must have shatterproof. So bear it in mind, if you're doing a restaurant, you've got cafe, you've got coffee, tea, food prep, food, whatever, you can use these and comply with shatterproof regulations. Where you have a dining room, you don't need to worry about it. That doesn't seem to matter. That's only preparation. So that's our video for today. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing. And if you've got any questions, certainly contact us through the website. And as I say, if you want to order these, they're online now. Go for it. Bye.